I thought I'd give you a good look at the data log. This is from the 788 pass. I've got the 792 up here from last year as well. First things first, speed, timing, retard. So let me take RPM off. We'll take map off. We've got drive shaft from the pass, yeah, and then speed, timing, retard, which is a window I've got set within the Fueltech above the drive shaft. So you'll see I've got a spike. I like this. Make this a bit thicker. Change the colour. So that spike is a gear change. That spike there is also a gear change. So that's the 1-2, that's the 2-3. You can see on both gear changes, it chirps the tyre a little bit and it pulls 9 degrees out. That's because that spike on the drive shaft is going into an invisible window that I've got set above it. I've got a low range and a high range to that window. The higher the spike goes in, the more timing it pulls. But if you look further down here, we'll thicken up this blue one. From the 330 onwards, pretty much, we're all over timing retard. Yeah, it's pulling 5 degrees, it gives it back, and then it's just out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, all the way to the backside of the run, straight to the gantry. So what I'm going to do now is show you why it did that. So you can see here, this is why it was doing that. So from here onwards, when you can see here, it chirps into the window there, pulls the timing that we've just been discussing on the data log. So basically this is the orange line is the window I've set. So depending on how far the drive shaft sensor spikes into that, determines how much timing it pulls. This is used for a few things. You can either use it to pull power out in case you're spinning the tyre, or you can use it to repeat passes. So if you wanted to run a 790 and you've got a 790 drive shaft trace, you can pretty much set this up really tight to that drive shaft curve and you can repeat a 790. Pretty cool. The purple window here is the timing retard window, so you'll see at the top of the window 5 degrees, bottom you can pull as much as 12. That works in reverse here. So yeah, basically from here onwards it's literally just in that drive shaft window. Had I have done this, right click, add, and just given it as little as 100 RPM and done that, the car would have gone faster. I don't know how much faster, but pulling timing out is pulling power out. So yeah, it would have gone faster. All I had to do was that, literally that, and then I've done the same to the top line. That keeps your window the same as what you had before. It's just raised it 100 RPM, like so. So that's my mistake. Well, yeah, let's go back to the data log. And we'll go through a few things. So RPM, you can see here where it rolls over, converter grabs. Now through the course of the weekend, let's get wastegate target up. This part of the boost target here, I was raising. At the start of the weekend, this line was a lot more lumped over. So every bit of power we give it here, the converter liked it and it stopped pulling the motor so much. And this was starting to smooth out into that first gear. So we were getting somewhere with that. You can see there, traction control pulls the boost target down, where it chirps the tyre on the 1-2. So not only does the drive shaft pull timing, but the traction control, I'll pull that up now. So if we go on slip target, I've got that set at 15%. Me and Tony Higgs did that at Bug Jam. We had a nice little sit down and a cigarette, and we set up a few extra things. And then it'll remove boost. There, see the black spike? Just thicken that up. So because as it shapes the tyre, we'll go on to wheel slip, and we'll change the colour of that one, and we'll thicken it up. So you can see the red one now just spikes over that 15% window I've got set. It goes to 19% because it shapes the tyre on the 1-2, and it pulls the boost down, and obviously the drive shaft pulls 9 degrees out as well. But all down the back side of the run, we're nowhere near traction control. It's just a shame that I forgot to pull that window up on the drive shaft, because that was pulling ignition timing all out the back of the run. Yeah, data logs are amazing, but when you see stuff like this and you're already at home and you haven't got no more passes make, it's a little bit frustrating sometimes. Let's just say that. But anyway, it's interesting. So we'll have a look. We'll turn all this off. Just tidy it up a little bit. Back pressure, we'll put that on. We'll have a little look at back pressure. So back pressure's across the bottom here. We'll turn map sensor on. We'll get rid of drive shaft with so map. We'll thicken him up. So the red one's just come up as map. Turn off wastegate. In fact, I'll leave that on a second. And I'm also going to put wastegate pressure on with it as well, and thicken it up. And we'll thicken him up as well. So back pressure to begin with, £28 there. At 3.4 seconds into the run, £28 on the map sensor, £18 of back pressure. So we're not 1-to-1, we're £10 off. So turbos are good, very good. To be fair, I didn't expect them to be. I thought we were going to be running out of turbo, but we're not. There's a spike there, which is, I wonder what that is. Goes up to 29 there for some reason. Strange. 29 on 29, but it's literally just a blip. Yeah, so anyway, boost target versus map were different, and it blagged me head for the first few runs, because I'm trying to work out why I'm requesting. At first I was requesting like £25 a boost. I was getting like 20, 21. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Have we got a boost leak? So I've got the charge pipes off, I've got wastegates off, everything looks good, all the O-rings on the clamps look good on the cold side, and I'm just like, what is going on? So anyway, Leonardo came over and he says, it's just a new setup, just request more, and just basically account for it, take it into account that you need to add a bit more to make what you want to make. So that's what I started doing, which is why the boost target's at 34 and we're making 29. He hit the scramble out the back, you can see there. Let me put the multifunction on so you can see where he hit it. So yeah, multifunction comes on at 6.4 seconds into the run. That's where he hits the scramble. That's normally the bump button, but after a validated launch, it swaps from bump to scramble. £3 on the scramble, which picked the wastegate target up to 37. We actually made 31 from the 1,000 foot to the 1320. So he could have hit that a lot sooner, really. If he'd have hit it here in this area, whoosh, should have been on one. Probably even with the timing retard. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like reading data logs like this and actually seeing what went on. It gives you an insight into what the car can actually do. So it's very interesting. Like let me overlay. Wait there. Let me overlay the 792 from last year to we'll leave map on. We'll turn them two off. We'll leave RPM on as well. So let's go to that one. Compare graph. So two-step can go off. Speed timing retard can go off. So the 788 drive shaft is the red one, which I'll highlight. Bang, that one. And the 792 from last year is the yellow one. But we'll change that to blue. So we've got a red and a blue. So you can already see the 792 last year was a 127.64 to 1.51 seconds 0 to 60. The 788 was a 181, I think, to 60, so slow. But you can already see the 792, the blue one, to 2.5 seconds were quicker. The drive shaft's way above the 788. But then if you look from 3.5 seconds onwards, the 788 drive shaft, the red one, goes above the blue. So with the 792's front half from last season and the back half from the pass we've just done, the PB, the 788, you put them two together, it's a 770 all day long. And look at the boost curve difference as well. So let me turn everything off other than boost curve or map. Look at map. So we'll put the 788 as bright red, that one, and that one's the dark red. Look how much faster it came up last year. At 1 second into the run, we were at 15, nearly £16 a boost when it went to 792 at last year's Euros. This year we're at £10, 10.2 PSI. So we're nearly £6, well, £6 down from where we were last year. Say again, but look at the difference in the back. You can see where it rises here, where we hit the scramble, it right at the very end of the track. But you can see now you put that map onto this, onto the 788 pass, and just basically go from there straight up there and roll it over to there. What we're running? Let me know in the comments again. This is what I'm saying about data logs, especially as you can overlay runs as well. It makes it so interesting, but it's just like, I should have hit it harder. I mean, in this part here is where I was making changes all weekend, here to here. I just kept adding, but what I should have been doing was adding from here, like 1 second in. I should have been making this more aggressive, but hey ho, we still got a PB. Let's look at oil pressure. This is the 788 passing out, by the way, so oil pressure is pretty decent all the way down. 78, 79 pound, 80 pound. That'll do. We are nearly out of injector, so I had to up fuel pressure after this run, because the 210s with the fuel pressure we're running, they equate to around 240, 250, somewhere in that range. But we're going to go for some 240 Fueltech ones, we think now, because we'd make 240 at 43.5 psi. Norwich, nearly 90 psi. But fuel pressure was strong all across the run, so good there. TPS, oh look. I don't know what was going on with TPS. It was a little bit jittery in places. Must have had a bit of a leg shake going on. O2 target. Targeting 10.9. correcting. We were correcting 8%, 10%, 11. I have made these corrections already. And I would show you that, but my screen recorder won't screen record 2 applications at the same time. So if I click O2 correction overlay, that'll open a window and it'll already make all these changes for you. You just then click one button that says send to FT Manager and that'll send it to your fuel map. I've already done that. The same you can do for ignition table overlay, although you make them changes yourself, and fuel table overlay, you also make them changes yourself if you want to. Yeah, pretty interesting. Plenty of in fact, let's have a look at, we'll turn these off and we'll have a look, because I was making adjustments to the anti-roll bar when I put the shocks on it, the race shocks. I tweaked the anti-roll bar to try and get the little bit of roll out of it. So this is the anti-roll, but this is the roll angle on the hit. So we go up to 1.4 degrees. It's next to nothing in it really. It kind of it does stay rolled over. 0.8 degrees, 1 degree. Yeah, can live with 1 degree, but you could probably get a lot of that out of it just from tweaking the anti-roll bar again. I mean, you're always going to get some, aren't you, because it's always going to try and roll over that way from the torque. Acceleration G. We'll put 2-step on so we can see where we let go of the button. So we let go of the button there. It takes a little bit for the car to react. It's crazy to see how long it takes the car to react as well when it does let go of the button. I mean, before that comes up, you're at 0.05 now. I mean, it's next to nothing, isn't it? But you can also use this to if you want to get good lights. There's a lot you can work out from data logs. That's all I'm going to say. It pulls 1.5 Gs there, 1.562, and it kind of holds 1.5 right the way out until 2 seconds pretty much. Well, this is another thing we were working on over the weekend. Leonardo kept coming over to me and we were reviewing data logs and looking at stuff and adding to the boost curve to try and keep these Gs up for as long as we could. And it was working. Well, I think when it went to 7 last year, let's get Gs up on this. I'm sure it went 192, 1.9 Gs, somewhere there. When the boost curve came in at 1 second, I think it was £16 at 1 second, something like that. 1.9 Gs. But it didn't hold it as long. Did it? 1.3. It wasn't holding it as long. But the first part of this ramp, definitely you can see the difference. We need to put this in to the map we've got in there now. Just this front bit here. We'll go back to the 88. We'll turn that off. We can look at acceleration speed so we can see where we at 0 to 60. And we're at 60 at, I'm sure it's 1.8, something like that. Yeah, 1.811. Slower, which is, it just tells you can go faster yet. Phone's going mad. Engine temp, Start of the pass, 70.8. All the way across, back of the run, 73.2. Air temp. We're hitting the turbos a bit harder, so air temp was higher than what we normally see. We're normally staying around the mid 30 range with 2 bags of ice and a frozen water bottle at around 25, 26 pound, but really notice a difference in air temp with the extra boost. So right as he comes off it, he's just nudged over 50 degrees. Duty cycle was up there, so I had to put more base pressure on it, which is why we're getting to bigger injectors, like I've said. Gear shift output, something else we need, and you can do RPM by gear and stuff, I think. Also, shock travel sensors. You imagine, I mean, it's a basic thing, we should already have them, to be fair, especially being a radial car. You imagine being able to see how high your shocks are extending and how much you've got left to go on here, how long they're staying up for, when they're starting drop off. You just like think about that. That's just makes your tuning of your suspension so much easier when you can actually see it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, that is pretty much the data log. Let's just go over to back to the Fueltech. So we're back in the Fueltech. We'll just have a look at this boost curve. I have already made alterations and saved it as a new map, just in case we get a track where I think we can try it. So time based after 2-step table. This is what we had in it. So at 1 second I was requesting £13. It wasn't making £13. At 1 second we were getting 10 maybe. So what I've done is made that a little bit more spicy. So if we open and scroll down, untested E85 spicy ramp. Oh, it sounds like a fast map, doesn't it? Look at the difference there at 1 second. £16. That should give us around £13–14, I'd imagine, at 1 second into the run, and then from there she just shoots up, baby. Well, that'll be a fast pass, that will. If that Uxon goes, even with the less boost out the back, I mean, it's £30 out the back. Because the 792, it was on £24 out the back on the 792. So if we can get this front half go, if this sticks on this short track here, like the first 1 to 1.4 seconds sticks, and it souped up and it stood up on that here, this is gonna go, well, I'm gonna say it'd be a 770, quite easily a 770, I'd imagine, on £30. I think £30 might even go faster than that with that front half. Maybe a low 770, 760. Maybe, I don't know. But we've still got a lot of potential in this front part of the boost curve. There's still a lot to be had. As soon as he gets them AFCO big guns on the back and we start dialing them in with some shock sensors, and we can slow that front travel, that front extension down as well, she's getting rip. So I'm properly looking forward to that. That is going to be really good. But when we'll have a track to be able to do that again, might be the Euros next year. Euros next year, or door slammers maybe, if we get a good door slammers and we decide to do door slammers, I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's that, guys. Just thought I'd give you a little look at the passes, some of the data I've unearthed, some of the little things I've realised and found out. And yeah,